Well, hello there. I am Kimberly Braun. I'm a seeker, an adventurer, a former Carmelite nun, a minister, author, retreat leader, meditation coach, and a friend playing in the mystic playground of life. And I'm here to begin a short series with you on the power of Teresa of Avila, and to give you really good reasons to want to grow in friendship with her. You might wonder if you can grow in friendship with someone who lived over 500 years ago. She was born in 1515, lived till 1582, and her entire life was spent in a small southeast region of Spain. She is spunky, audacious, she's gifted, she's real, and her writings today are inspiring millions. In fact, many prolific translators and writers and spiritual leaders turn to her and even offer us modern renditions of her work. So I think she's someone really worth some close attention. Now, today's short video is about the start point of spiritual growth in her mind. Teresa had a direct experience of the beauty and the magnificence of the soul. She said that if each human being would spend time and really get to know themselves, they would be dumbfounded and humbled at the sight of the magnificence and beauty of their own soul. And she says that's the greatest gift in life, but it's also the greatest tragedy to not even focus on getting to know yourself in these deep ways. She gives a really great example. She said, what would it be like if you went into a foreign land and everyone was asking you, well, what country are you from? And you were like, I don't know. And then they asked you, well, what's your family name and who are your parents? And again, you were like, well, I don't know. It would seem stupid. She likes that word stupid. She's very spunky. She says that's the way we are in relation to our own selves. And she lays out through her very personal experience how we can get to know ourselves easily and how we can embody God, Source, Spirit, right here and right now. If you read her Interior Castle, which was a book she wrote much later in life when she was 62, she has a book that is the first edition of that she wrote right as she began having her mystical experiences many years earlier. But that one was cast into the fire except for a few copies that, of course, now we have 1 million copies, but back then there were not many. And in that treatment, which starts out as her own autobiography, she has a direct experience that at the very center of her being, there God dwells. And her whole path of healing and transformation comes from being faithful not to something outside of her, but to what happens by her direct experience inside. So everything that she has to offer us in her teachings is not only a good methodology, not only interesting and curious perspectives on spiritual and personal growth, not only poetry that is withstanding the test of time, but is the direct fruit of her own experience of healing and transformation. I want to set the stage in this first video because oftentimes people think of Teresa of Avila, and because of the dramatic experiences she had, they put her in this lofty pedestal in this unapproachable place. But did you know that when she joined the monastery when she was 23, it was 20 years later that she began having her experiences? In fact, she didn't like the silence so much. She was so loved and so charismatic that people would turn to her for spiritual advice and spiritual consulting, but she herself ran away from the very contemplative life. But that zeal then was directed wholly into the contemplative life once she had a deep conversion and awakening when she was 43. She's an inspiration that it's never too late. Time is not something we need to be concerned about. As we know, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day. In one instant, we can awaken into these parts of ourselves in such a way that we're rooted there. So I hope you enjoyed this short series. Thank you for being with me. And this will be leading into 2 options that I have to offer everyone. The first is a 5-week online course with Teresa of Avila. I'll get to more details about that later. And the second is a retreat next year that will be in Spain to 6 of the many monasteries that she herself founded. Have a great day. If you have questions, email me, Kimberly@kimberlybraun.com.